Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Tuesday, June 30th meeting of the St. Joseph County Board of Commissioners. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on the agenda are bid openings for real estate property at 1417 Van Buren Street. Oh. Mike, are you going to?
We only received one bid. It was from a neighboring property. They bid $1,500. At this point, having only one bid, the request would be to accept the bid, and we can document the sale in a resolution at our next meeting.
Sounds reasonable. Any questions about that?
That was the one that Mitch Heppenheimer,
Correct.
okay.
It's a property next to the, they want to acquire that property.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what
It's a owner of a property, they want to buy the vacant lot next to them.
Yeah, I know we did like that, but, so we just got one bid, their bid?
That's all, $1,500, yes.
$1,500, okay.
I will look for a motion that we accept the bid we received.
Motion to approve?
Second,
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do
Aye.
you vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next is quotes on demolitions of property at 14380 and 14402 Douglas Road.
Sky Meadows Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth, offices on the 7th and 11th floor of this building. We received two quotes for the demolition at those two properties. The first quote is from R&R Excavating of Mishawaka, Indiana, and their total quote is for $112,747.50. That's R&R Excavation in the amount of $112,747.50. The second quote we received for the demolition of those properties on Douglas Road is from Richard Brothers of South Bend, Indiana. And their quote was for $88,780. So the second quote was from Richard Brothers Incorporated for the amount of $88,780. I request that these you receive these bids and turn them over to Public Works for review.
What are we demoing there?
It's properties, two properties just east, the buildings on two properties just east of the railroad tracks and west of Capitol on Douglas Road.
Okay, how big are they?
Just normal size homes, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's normal, what did you say?
Just normal residents.
Residents.
Yeah, it's a residential, they're both residential lots.
That's what I
No,
thought.
isn't that a lot?
Pardon me?
Isn't that a lot for,
I don't know everything that's gone into it. There's asbestos abatement and other things too, so that's why we need to take a look at it.
okay,
Yeah.
seems like a lot.
Well, it's for two properties, and if you look for like one property, the demo itself is 30, you don't have this in front of you, so you can't look. But for one property on the low quote, the demolition for one parcel was $35,000, and the asbestos abatement was 10. Then the demo for the other was a 31, and the asbestos abatement was
The other one was
6,500.
about 30,000, less
Yeah.
than the other?
No, they're both about 30,000.
No,
Oh,
total.
between the
total
two
amount.
proposals,
Yeah.
Two proposals.
Yeah, two
They're
proposals. Yeah,
112,000
To 80.
yes,
and 88 for the other.
yes.
I'm good.
To fix it up, right?
No, to demolish.
Oh, demolish it? Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
this
that's
is just
what it says,
odd.
Demolition.
There we go, that's
Thank
better.
you.
Yeah. Demolition.
Okay, we need a motion to
Thanks, Guy.
receive the proposals and turn them over to Sky to review. Do we have a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, the accounts payable docket. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you
Aye.
vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we want to recognize our Citizen of the Month. However, I believe JT, Mr. John Thompson, is working this evening.
How do you know this? Yeah, he'll be here at our meeting
Surprised you, didn't
next
I?
week, John Thompson, and also the Business of the Month, probably next week because they're busy. So the Youth of the Month. Today is Olvin Rivera Messinas, correct? Step up to the podium, please. There's that big smile, man. Right there, right there, right there.
You don't speak English.
Okay, thank you. Olvin recently moved to the United States from Honduras and is a student in the Life Skills program at LaSalle Academy. The Dieter boys all that. He has made an immediate and tremendous impact to the school community by being willing to help in any way possible. On any given day, he helps students push their wheelchairs, helps our bus supervisor hand out passes, and greets students who are coming inside from the buses by holding the door with a great giant smile.
Yes, una sonrisa.
Good smile.
He helped develop a student council, sell school bracelets during the lunch hour, and showed everyone what a great business person he is. However, the most important thing is that he has brought to LaSalle is the ability to put a smile on the face of everyone who is by him. He loves interacting with the staff, and common to see him with other students going out of the way to say hello to Olvin to help him in some way. So congratulations, young man.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
And now, if you'd like to talk about him?
Yes, like they said, you know, he's willing to help anytime at home. He's a blessing. He's a blessing, and anything that he achieves, he goes for it, you know. So right now, for him being less than a year, he's already learning his ABCs in English, you know, his numbers. So I'm very proud of him, and we're proud of him, of having him at home. So thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it, and thank you to LaSalle, who's done a great work with him. So we're moving forward, but thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
Would
you for
anybody
this
else from the
opportunity.
family like to speak?
I don't know, uncle? No, nobody?
Excuse me, are you
No.
his mom?
I'm his stepmom.
Stepmom, okay.
That is right
Just
there.
identify, you know, what your name is and.
My name is Wanda Rodriguez. I'm stepmom.
Okay,
Mhm,
thank
mhm.
you.
Thank you. ¿De qué sube?
Oh, come.
All family?
Moving on to bills passed by the St. Joseph County Council. There were three of them, ordinance 77-23, 78-23, 79-23.
Move for approval?
Second?
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you
Aye.
vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item, appointment to the County Tax Board of Appeals. Anthony Percini.
Open nominations.
I will open nominations.
I'd like to nominate Anthony Pericini.
Appointment to Anthony, Pericini,
Second that.
I'll second that.
Close the nominations
Make a
and
motion to
call for a
close.
motion. Make a
Okay.
motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Second,
Commissioner Fleming, how do we vote?
aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, approval of Figment Group agreement for drug testing.
Robert Erie, Safety Management underneath the Board of Commissioners. What this is a third-party group to pull random names for drug testing for Department of Transportation testing, as well as some safety-sensitive employees that we have for random drug testing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you that well. I'm sorry.
So this is an approval for Figment Group to be our third-party administrator to pull our random groups for Department of Transportation and also safety-sensitive. Our last company that we had chose to quit doing the third-party and only does drug testing. So we, according to the Department of Transportation, we need to follow a third party to pull these names.
Thank you.
How many drug tests did we do last year? Do you know?
Off the top of my head, we had maybe 100.
And what do we test for?
We follow Department of Transportation regulations, so there's a 5-panel. So the common street drugs we test for, and then when new things are brought in, fentanyl, things that will get added to that as well.
And finally, how many people failed?
Since I've been here, there's not been any failures.
Really?
Oh,
Correct.
good.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Yuri.
I don't know if it was me.
But if somebody did fail, we have, out of HR processes where they
So
can
if
get help or
someone-
whatever?
So if someone were to fail, if they were a Department of Transportation driver, we have to follow a protocol to offer them a second chance or go to a program, complete that program, or we could choose to eliminate their employment, but in order to get their commercial driver's license back, they would still have to complete that program.
Okay. Do we also use this as a precursor for if somebody applies for a job with the county? Do they have to pass a test to come in?
Correct. Yes, but this wouldn't be the same. This is just for current
Okay.
employees to be pulled, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? If not, do we have a motion to
Move for
approve?
approval.
Second,
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you
Aye.
vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item is approval of disposal of mechanical unit 12-04 to the Central Auto Pool.
I was asked to pinch hit on this one. Police Department has a vehicle that I believe was donated by another department several years ago. It's used as a SWAT, an emergency rescue vehicle. The engine on it has blown. At this point, it is too expensive to fix. They would like to contract or send the vehicle over to Central Auto Pool. They'll part it out. There's no value to the county for this, so we just need to dispose of the vehicle.
Any questions?
Isn't there a new tank they got, right?
Well, I mean, I assume we'll see that soon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's $25,000 to
Right.
replace the engine, so
To fix it up, yeah.
it's not
25.
worth it. No other questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
A motion to approve,
Second.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you
Aye.
vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, from the Health Department, approval to apply for a grant through IDOH to better respond to public health emergencies.
Hi, this is Amy Rupi, Administrator with the Department of Health with offices on the 8th and 9th floor of the County City Building. And this grant is in the amount of $25,000, and it helps to support our Public Health Emergency Preparedness Coordinator to purchase any supplies needed to be ready in case of a public health emergency. And this grant is reimbursable, and it is through the State Department of Health.
Amy, have you gotten this grant in the past?
Yes, we have gotten this grant at least for the past 5 or 6 years.
Thank you.
Amy, what period of time does this cover?
This would start July 1st of 2023 and go through June 30th of 2024.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yep, and you said this was 25,000? Is that what you said?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other questions for, or comments for Amy?
Move for approval?
Second?
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do
Aye.
you vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, from Infrastructure Planning and Growth, approval of Civic Plus C-Click Fix. Mr. Fotia.
Good evening, Commissioners. Frank Fotia, Economic Development Planner, offices on the 11th floor of this building. Before you are three proposals that have to do with online permitting and interactions with the public to allow them to better raise issues to us. In particular, the Highway Department C-Click Fix would increase the ability for residents to alert us to issues such as maybe a pothole or a dead deer or a missing sign or something. It geolocates, they can click and put a pin down on a map, and then it interfaces with Cartograph, which is coming up, an asset management system that the Highway Department would utilize. It is a feature of our website then that comes also with an application that users can download on their phone to be able to submit those concerns. The nice thing about that is right now, somebody goes on our website, submits a concern, it goes to one of the admins in IPG who then has to take it, hand enter it into one of various other systems, track it, and then hopefully remember to then go and see if it was taken care of and close it out on the website as well so that the resident is notified. All of that would happen seamlessly and frictionless through C-Click Fix and then OpenGov's Cartograph asset management solution. So it would go right to the highway people who can fix the problem. They can create the work ticket in Cartograph, fix it, and then it'll have that two-way communication with C-Click Fix to then update the resident that it has actually been completed.
Could you repeat that, Frank? No, just kidding. Thank you.
Frank, it also has applicability to code enforcement as well?
It does. They can, through this, they're able to submit any of the complaints, whether they're code enforcement complaints or repairs that need to be done. It can also be utilized for us to send a message on the home screen. So when it comes time for fall taxes to be due, because we don't send out a fall tax bill, we can put that on the home screen of the app during that time with a link to send them out to their to the LAO's online payment for taxes as well.
Well, it should increase transparency, access.
And people
be
can
able to
follow,
track.
and people will be able to follow their complaints in real time as they progress through and see when work tickets are created and when they're actually be completed. And I will note that for all of the three that I'm bringing forward today, funding has been identified in the building fund. So these are user fees, people who are taking out permits, whether fence, driveway, any type of building permit. Those fees will then go towards maintaining the system moving forward.
So this will be a county, not the collaboration city, county, it's all county?
This right now is all county, yes.
Okay.
And the building department, who would be utilizing just the civic gov portion, they have seen it, and the city is looking at entertaining maybe taking their permitting online, and they'll be looking at this as well. They've already requested some of the tech specs on the online permitting to see if that's something that would work with the city's IT as well.
So if the city wants to use this, they will have to pay us, correct?
If they want to use OpenGov, not
Right.
C-Click Fix.
Okay, cool. You know, this is like, when I was on the city council, decades ago, people were very, hey, this thing is all messed up, it's a pain to do stuff, so this is a good thing to have a one-stop shopping online so everybody can do that. So good work.
Thank you.
So do we have a motion to approve the Civic Plus C Click Fix?
What'd you say, click fix?
Let's
I'll
say it
second that
fast.
motion.
Oh, you,
Well, I guess I made the motion.
okay, you made the motion? Oh, I thought you said you want a motion? Okay, I'll second that too then.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you
Aye.
vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And Frank, as you said, going along with that, this request for Civic Gov online permitting.
Yes, so this would be an online permitting tool. One of the first things that Bill tasked me with when I got to economic development was looking at online permitting, since we were no longer moving forward with an ERP system. So we looked at a couple different ones. This would be permitting for the building department, health departments, environmental, so food establishment permits, temporary permits, any permit that the health department issues, well, septic, same thing in IPG with any type of site plan, site review, anything that's handled by area plan, as well as driveway permits, will all go through this one-stop shop online permitting. And much like the other system, residents will be able to track their application as it progresses along. So in the instance of, say, a well or a septic, they'll be able to see, yes, it's the health department we're waiting on, or maybe it's they're waiting for my contractor to get a new design back to them. And that transparency and openness in real time is something that I know is really important to the various divisions in the health department and IPG, and that was something that this product is able to offer.
And it's also important to a lot of the users.
Yes.
Hopefully, this will expedite the permitting process. It certainly seems to have the potential to do that.
Hope so. And I know that all the departments that would be utilizing this are on board and in favor of this.
Good, okay.
Questions? Do we have a motion?
Move for approval?
Second,
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The final one then would be OpenGov's Cartograph Asset Management Solution. This is for use for our highway department in tracking road miles, pretty much any type of asset that's out there, signs, guardrails, lights, and also paved roads, and would be able to help the highway department better forecast out depreciation and preventative maintenance.
And I note that again, the user fees from the building department would pay for this.
Correct.
Does not include speed humps, correct?
It does not.
Okay, gotcha. Move for approval?
Second,
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
aye.
Commissioner Dieter,
Aye.
how do you vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
And finally, approval of bid request for RNS 92301S miscellaneous road resurfacing. Welcome back.
Yeah, Sky Meadows again, Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth. What this is this is the bid request for our subdivision package in 2023 for paving. One item that I would like to change on this is that after some conversations with some people and some phone calls, we decided to break this into two packages instead of one big package. So instead of 14 miles, we're going to break it into two packages of 7 miles each. And mainly, we feel after talking to some contractors and some help from some people that if we have a package that's just the northeast part of the county, we can get at least one more bidder into the mix. And having more bidders just helps us all with costs and so forth. So we'll have a package that's in the northeast part of the county, which is this package here, which will be about 7.2 miles, I believe. And then I'll be coming probably next week or the week after with the second package, which is the rest of the areas in the county. So I would like to request your approval of this, to notice this for bid, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Good. This is just subdivisions?
Yes, this is just subdivisions. We've already bid out our mainline package for this year, which is about 13 miles of roads. That was awarded at a meeting a few weeks ago, I believe. Yeah, and so that's just our main line. This is just in subdivisions,
I
correct?
would assume most are in northeast part of the county, Penn and Clay and all that.
About half of what we're doing. That's where
Okay.
most of the subdivisions are and most of the roadway miles for those types of roads.
And again, we're just advertising for bids.
Yes,
We're
yes,
not approving.
yes, sir.
Any other questions?
Negative, move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter? Commissioner Baxmeyer?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion
Thank
carries.
you.
Thank you,
Not-
Mr. Metters.
Not having any old business right now, we'll move to public comments.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good now? Okay. Craig Coburn McDonald, 3016 Portage Avenue, South Bend. Mental health episodes in this community are on the rise. Everyone can agree with that. Everyone can agree that it needs to be addressed. We all can agree on that, right? You guys had a chance to be leaders in this fight that we're fighting. Instead, you dropped the ball. You ran away from your responsibilities. Portage Manor is exactly what is needed in this community, and you shut it down. Shame on you for not having the courage to be leaders in tackling this fight. Did you guys do any research or surveys on or about the people at Portage Manor? What their needs are, where they can go, what stress you put on them by only giving them 45 days to find a home, find services that can provide for their needs? I know you only wanted the land, so that's what you focused on. But these fragile residents are not pawns in your quest for wealth and power. No matter what the three amigos up there tell you on the news, it's not easy to place these residents in appropriate homes. You have proven that this commission doesn't care about the will of the people. We're watching you.
Thank you.
Hello, Julie Calhoun, 51517 Haverhill Court, South Bend. This is my brother, because you guys didn't get to see him. The council saw him. This is Randy, Joe Nowak. And this has been really taxing on all of us. Monica Murphy, when she did the story on the press conference, we are trying to extend the closing date at somehow. I mean, that was my angle. Because the 22 RCAP homes, this is the list I was given the day after you deemed to close Portage Manor. We all went at 9 a.m. in the cafeteria, but this list has been through the ringer, as you can see, because today I found out the yellow highlighted facilities are county homes. They're not licensed, so my brother cannot go to those. That leaves me with 13 to choose from. And one size doesn't fit all. Medicaid waiver is not, it's not gonna work for us, in my situation, and a lot of the other ones too. You said that you wanted to keep them all together. That is not happening. Valley View is not an option. I talked with Courtney Mullins today with my brother. He was walking down the hall, saw me, came in, and we talked about it. Valley View is not an option. She called yesterday, and they haven't even applied for their RCAP certification submission. They haven't even done that. So what is going on? Well, you guys were promising that to them. My brother's begging me, he's begging me to go to Cardinal Nursing Home. He doesn't understand. He wants to stay in South Bend. He doesn't understand he doesn't have the Medicaid waiver. He does now because he listened in and he has to listen. Joe cannot live at those places I just said. He cannot live with his Portage Manor friends all together like you dangled that carrot. This has been extremely draining on me and my other people up here. We've become friends over all this and bonded. And this is the black and white reality. Can I come up there and show you this paper? Am I allowed to do that? Yes or no?
No,
You can leave it at the desk over there.
you can show it to us after the meeting.
Okay. And this is the black and white reality. Let's see, all this information is very hard to process. There is so much terminology in here, and it just keeps growing and growing. Possible questions to ask facilities. This is the number one that Courtney told me to ask. Since he doesn't qualify for waiver and he only gets blank amount of month, this amount of money per month. Oh, darn it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roy Sines, 426 South Mead Street. Good evening, Commissioners, Counselor. It's good to see you let Frank out of the closet since his debacle with Board of Managers Director there and leadership there. But let's talk about leadership and failed leadership. As you know, in the military, police department, corporate America, or as elected officials, the title does not make the person makes the title. Over the past 3 years, Mr. Dieter, Attorney Mish, and even Frank Futia at that point in time, and over the last 6 months, Mr. Baxmeyer have proceeded to tell the public the county has failed and have blamed previous council members, board of managers, multiple administrators for allowing Portage Manor to fall into disrepair. This Board of Commissioners' first major decision of the year was to be the failure of Portage Manor. That is your legacy. It is the cowardly way out. It has been proven, looking at the county's budget, that there was and is enough money to repair the building without a bond and enough in the annual budget for the county to maintain operations of Portage Manor. Yet instead, this commission chose to close Portage Manor and pass on to the residents of St. Joseph County $14 million in annual impact costs. Additional burden on county jails, longer wait times at local hospitals, more strain on mental health facilities of the area, and so forth. If this commission cannot manage and operate a facility that would have only cost the county $700,000 a year, then how are you fit to lead the county and manage the budget operations for the county's $200 million current budget? You're placing an additional 7% burden on the taxpayers. Let's take a look at that 45 days. Foreclosures, squatters, and normal eviction process get 30 days. These are individuals with mental health and disability and limited resources. Your process for a safe transition has created panic, fear-mongering scenario. Prisoners are treated better than how you've chosen to handle this process. It is cruel and borderline criminal. Reverse course or resign, because your leadership ability here has caused quite a debacle and you failed to listen to the public will. Yes, other county homes have closed. If you're setting the goal of failure, then follow their example. If we would prefer to achieve in setting a higher bar, choose your change of course, keep Portage Manor open. Family members have discovered that FSA and Indiana Department of Health and other existing options do not provide wraparound services such as Medicaid administration, doctors, psychological services, transportation, baking, mail management, the list goes on. Your presumption that all county homes are the same is false and is a lie to say otherwise. It is all information an attorney that specializes in elder care abuse would have known, right, Counselor? Almost every word about Portage Manor out of this Board of Commission has been sophistry. Did I use that correctly, Counselor? That is when you use fallacious arguments, especially with the intention of deceiving. Thank you.
He's been here before.
Good evening. Laura McClellan. I have a new address for you because I have to basically live here now because of you. Thank you. 3800 North Main Street, Mishawaka. Congratulations on the good luck that you or your loved ones don't need a place like Portage Manor. Although, if you ask enough friends and extended family, they might surprise you. I just learned that through family connections, someone lives at Golden Meadows, which is the county home in Decatur. I thought, oh, well, if he's lived there for 30 years and I have distant relatives who live nearby, maybe my brother can go there. Well, then we had that list of 23 RCAP facilities. One is Portage Manor. Edward can't stay there. 7 said they have 0 beds. 7 didn't bother to return phone calls from Portage Manor. So, am I supposed to trust them with my brother? 8 are unlicensed county homes. They are not like Portage Manor. Michael Mish, they are not like Portage Manor. They are unlicensed. That means they do not have QMAs that are able to dispense medications. I can forward you a list of things that a QMA is allowed to do. And these county homes, like Golden Meadows and Decatur, they can't do it. My brother cannot go there, period. End of story. You know how many are left? 3 facilities in the entire state of Indiana. That's it. 3. I am telling you, he has 3 options. And guess what? If you've ever had a family member go into assisted living or nursing care, they have to actually accept you. What if these 3 places decide they can't actually take care of my brother? Then I'm down to 0. What exactly is he supposed to do then? Michael Mish knows that Valley View cannot accept RCAP until licensed. Their wing is not ready for months. The Bureau of Developmental Disability Services has a waiting list of something like 6 to 8 months. Real Services provided a list of HUD, Christian Services, YWCA, Department of Veterans Affairs, and subsidized housing. There isn't a single resident of Portage Manor who could live at any of those places. The only agency in St. Joe County allowed to assess for the aged and disabled Medicaid waiver is Real Services.
Your 3 minutes are up. Thank you so much.
Not the commissioners, not the council members, not the county attorneys, and not Byron. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brenda Pierce, 1805 West Bertrand Road, Niles, Michigan. My brother is at Portage Manor. He's been there for a few years. Prior to him going there, he was just like you and I. He was very functional and everything else. He has lived his whole entire life in St. Joe County. He was born in Mishawaka, Indiana, just as I was. St. Joe Hospital, the old one, as we all know, okay? He has paid taxes all his life in this county until he, for some reason, had some kind of a stroke and it gave him some mental disabilities. At some point in time, thank God, maybe this will never happen to you or one of your loved ones, because we would never want that to happen to one of our loved ones. I myself cannot take care of my brother. I had to retire early because I take care of both my parents. My dad has cancer and my mom has dementia. And Portage Manor is close enough for me to take them over there, and we went to the bash. And my brother was so happy to see them. And my mom is not going to remember my brother for much longer because she can hardly remember anything. And you guys are going to take that away because he's going to have to move. We don't even know where he's going to go. He's a veteran also. He served in the Marine Corps and he lost his eye. But yet the veterans, you know how long it takes for them to get something done, to get him qualified for anything, and he does not qualify for all this stuff that you keep saying. And if it wasn't for the great son that I have, Roy, to help me out, we'd be nowhere. And Mike, he can't help himself. And you guys are breaking our heart, and you're breaking our family. And my dad's 90 years old, and you should have seen my brother just hug on to them and just hang on to them for dear life when we were there at the bash. I was able to take my parents over there, and I barely get a chance to come here. But I met you, Derek, last year for the first time, and you were for keeping Portage Manor open. And now all of a sudden I come and you're totally against it. I don't understand. Can you explain that to me? I mean, what's in it for everybody else? Because it's not in it for these residents. And I'm sorry. And I hope it never happens to you. But you see my parents, and that's my brother back up there. He is one of your veterans, and he is one of your longtime residents.
Your 3 minutes are up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the room wish to speak? Seeing no one, we'll move to Cheryl Nix online.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. I wanted to also continue to address the concerns of Portage Manor families. I was alarmed when I read an article written in by Jeff Parrott in WVPE on June 14th. He writes, an Elkhart nursing home that St. Joseph County Commissioners are offering as a potential next home for soon-to-be displaced Portage Manor residents has a history of health and safety violations. Valley View Healthcare Center on Mishawaka Road, owned by Cincinnati-based Communicare Health Services, has been cited by federal inspectors for 57 violations and fined more than $144,000 over the past 3 years, according to a database by journalism outlet ProPublica. County Council member Diana Hess said she's very leery about a lawsuit that's been filed against Communicare for allegedly mistreating nurses at its nursing home in other states. That lawsuit, filed in Ohio federal court, claims Communicare recruited nurses from the Philippines, failed to pay them for overtime, and threatened to sue them if they quit without paying the company $16,000 for what it called immigration and recruitment cost. Councilwoman Hess goes on to say, so I have a lot of questions about that particular facility and the fact that's been discussed. Moving residents from Portage Manor into a long-term care facility was not a solution to keep the community of people together. There seems to be a complete misunderstanding of the residents who live at Portage Manor, what their needs are, what the community means to them, how important this is. It's like ripping people apart. These are not people who should be warehoused. These are people who have lives and feelings and concerns and families who care. I would agree that this doesn't appear to be a solution, especially since it looks like that wing will not be prepared in time with the closing of July 31, and it appears they have not even applied for licensing so they can take RCAP residents. I also beg for a delay on the closure. Let's continue to look for other solutions. Let's put these families' hearts and minds at ease. Let's do what's best for the people at Portage Manor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your package would be on the 7th floor.
Thank you.
Anyone else online wish to speak? Guess not. Seeing no one, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.